Hey guys, GoToBoy32 here. Check it out. This is a redo of the Primary Arms 4x14-44 front focal plane scope review. Stand by. Hey guys, good morning. GoToBoy32 here. Check it out. Got my Yeti cup of coffee. Pretty happening. Okay, so the reason for this video is back in the day when I first started this damn YouTube channel, I thought it'd be pretty cool to talk in one of those really stupid accents, you know, just to kind of throw something in there. I don't know. It's trying to be humorous, but in any case, it didn't lend itself to a very serious presentation or review. Well, let's thought about just going ahead and doing it again. Now, in an effort to do this thing justice, because I've used this scope extensively, we're going to go ahead and do this correctly. Now, one of the things I am not going to do is I'm not going to go ahead and pull off these scope mounts or this upper rail right here, because it's a pain in the ass to have to level and plumb these things up anyway. So, with that being said, I'll just go ahead and start off with this thing weighs 24 ounces bare. For you people that really need to know how much it weighs, and it is a beefy little thing. Guys, we're back, and check it out, man. We're just going to go over some of the really cool details that make this thing a really good scope. I'm going to talk about the practical experiences with it. We're going to talk about what the focal distances are, the eye relief, that kind of thing. So anyway, let's go over some of the deal. All right, this thing is 4x14 and guys, basically what that means, you got a 4:14 power ratio, and you got a 44 millimeter exit here. So this thing is a front focal plane scope, or first focal plane, FFP. That's what that means. And essentially that is what we're talking about, is the reticle in relationship to your target. Now the reticle will always be the same in relationship to your target no matter what power the scope is at. Okay, so we're talking about front focal plane scope for under $300. This thing retails for $279. Back to the scope itself, we have a partial illuminated reticle, and this has the ACSS Reticle. Now that's a little overexposed right there. I'm going to go ahead and bring that in so you can see it, but I will tell you this, and we'll go back to the front focal plane thing, and it's going to be all over the board because I'm a little ADHD TV, but anyway, so it's pretty cool. If you look at this guy, you've got your bullet drop reticle right here, you got your windage right here, this is sizing rings right here, and this is actually the size of someone's head. So depending on how their head matches up, I don't know why they would use a human head for this thing, but anyway, however this thing sizes up, that's your guesstimation on the range. So it's pretty cool reticle. If you learn how to use it, is a tremendous tool. Not much on the windage, because what, a 226 or 556, excuse me, you're really not going to be trying to reach out there so much that the windage can be put in there. But I will tell you this, with this scope and a 77 grain Black Hills with that Mark 12 Mod 0 build, I can put together it under 3 inches at 300 yards. The best thing about it is this guy right here is clear enough to where you can see a pinpoint out that far. All right, so moving on, let's get on back to the scope itself. I can just ramble on forever. So we got the partial illumination reticle. It is in red, and it's got the little horseshoe shape, which is pretty cool also for a fast acquisition. So basically you turn that thing on and you can roll from there. So matte black finish right here. Pretty good finish all the way around. I will tell you, this is a very attractive scope, and that's one of the reasons why I liked it so much. Now, one of the deals that led me to the Primary Arms was watching the Military Arms channel and their 1,000 yard rifle for under $1,000, and they went with the mil-dot reticle version of this bad boy, which is not lit. And I did a video on that a while ago, and it's a great scope as well. All right, so let's talk about this. Exit pupil is 11.2 millimeter to 3.3 millimeter. Eye relief on this thing is 82 millimeter. Now, the eye relief is, of course, just like anything else. When you got this thing zoomed up to full power, the eye relief is huge. I mean, you can be all over the board with this guy, and it's just everywhere. Let's see if I can get this thing to work here. All right, see that? Now what happens is, guys, if you're not familiar with this thing, and a lot of guys who's going to be looking at this video are people who don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on scopes. But the eye relief at low power is huge. When you move it up to level 14, the eye relief is a little bit more picky. All right? So you're going to have to be a little bit more precise on the high levels, but at low power, you can be all over the board on this bad boy. So that's one of the things. I would say you're going to get better eye relief with, say, a Leupold. Of course, you're going to pay $1,200 for a Mark IV. You're going to get Schmidt & Bender. You've got those other ones that are high-end Night Force. A lot of those guys out there, they're going to be really, really good eye relief, but we're talking $1,000 scopes versus a sub $300 scope. Field of view, 27.2 feet at 100 yards at 4 power. And basically, guys, what that means is the lower the power, this thing's going to see a wider view at 100 yards. I got it overexposed so you can see exactly what's going on. And when you're zoomed in, your field of view is going to go like that. All right, well, open, close, open, close. That's pretty cool. Moving on, the click values on the adjustments here are 1 mil rad. Click, 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 and you can hear that. Pretty tactical. Now you got these adjustments up here. You can lock these things down. You can undo these things, raise these up, zero them out, and put them exactly where you are on the zero. Now, one of the things I have found, there's a couple of people out there that say they've had some issues with this. But gentlemen, I can make this thing dance across the board at exactly 1 mil at 100 yards or 100 meters. All I got to do, dance, 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 dance. And I just call it the dance. And if you've seen my videos on how to sight in a scope, what I do is I take a whiteboard that's approximately 4 by 3 foot wide. I put a grid over top of it. We go ahead and zero in with a laser to just bring it on paper, and then I can put this thing on zero at 100 yards with less than 3 shots. Sometimes I've done it in 2, which is not a big deal. If you know your scope, and I always say, know your scope, know exactly what, you see those guys out there, the real deal snipers, they know their scope, they know their measurements, they know their range, they know their drops, they know their windage, they can just reach up there. And a lot of these guys, they don't have the bullet drop reticle. If I have my bullet drop reticle, and this is the beauty of the ACSS reticle, is that once you're zeroed in, you never have to touch these guys. Never, 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 never. Just leave them alone. Let them go. Do whatever they want. But for zeroing, click, 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 done. And if you got some minor adjustments, like say for instance, I'm going to pull this guy off with these Arms Inc., these guys right here, every time I pull this thing off, I'm within an inch of being zeroed in at 100 yards. No shit. And as far as scope mounts are concerned, you're not going to get any better heavy-duty scope mount rings than these guys right here, other than their upgraded versions. Let's talk about a couple other things. 6 levels of brightness on the power knob here, and this thing it doesn't have any clicks, but it's tough to move. I mean, it really is. So you've got an off area in between each one of the adjustments, which is pretty cool because you can just go click, click, click. Guys, this thing uses a CR2032 battery. Go ahead and keep a couple extras on hand. I'm not sure the lifespan of this thing depending on the level, but I have left it on for up to like a month. Come back and it still be on. Unfortunately, I left it on again and came back another month and she was off. So keep a couple extra of these guys on hand. And you know, that's the beauty of this thing. They are inexpensive, they're economical scopes, but the lifespan of the battery is not going to be that high. You can hear those birds up, man. It's coming up 6 a.m. in the morning. All right. Multi-coated lenses to help prevent the glare. And like I said, the lenses on these things are not that bad. Fairly clear. And one of the things that I can judge is, like I got that Leapers UTG 3-12, I believe it is. Really good scope, but when you do zero that thing out or zoom it out to 12, there is some lens defragment, or whatever you call it. Man, I'm a photographer. I can't even think of the damn name of it. But anyway, this is a little bit more clear, a lot more clear actually, and it's a good mid-range scope to be using, and you get a lot of value for this thing. All right, talk about the Shockwave. Shock proof up to 1,000 G's, which means you can pretty much put this bad boy on about anything. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's built like a tank. It really is. It's unbelievably strong. Waterproof up to 11 feet. I don't know what the temperature ranges are on there. I don't plan on testing that portion of it out. I have had it out down to about 13 degrees, had no issues out of it, and I've shot it in 100 degrees. No big deal. You're not going to get a whole bunch of fogging up in this thing because of the nitrogen purging. As you can hear, my damn dogs are in there just playing up like a storm. All right, main tube is aluminum. She uses a 30mm tube, and it's spun, and it's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. They did a great job putting this thing together. Really impressed. The length of this thing is 13 inches front to back. Now, one of the things you can do is primary arms. They do have this hood that you can go ahead and put on here, and to help with any kind of glare out there. And you can put the front anti-glare thing in up here. No big deal there, but it turns itself into a real long scope at that point. I'm gonna tell you. All right, so let's go ahead and pull that off of there. I got Ollie, for you guys that are interested in knowing. He is going on 5 months right now. He's about 55 pounds. He is going to be a hoss, but he's so soft, it's crazy. All right, so I'm not gonna pull all this stuff off like I said before, but she's 14 ounces, or yeah, no, I'm sorry, 24 ounces empty, and then comes with a 3-year warranty, guys. So that's pretty much it. So let's talk about a couple things that really that affected me when it made actually influenced me on my purchase here. Okay, so one is, again, watching the Military Arms channel, they sent out, they did that sub $1,000 rifle, and they chose the primary arms over a bunch of other ones out there. Now, that's one of the reasons why I went with this guy right here, because I was really impressed with the ACSS Reticle, and that's going to move me into my next point of conversation. The ACSS Reticle, I'm guessing the hood, heads-up display, it's a fantastic tool. Specifically, if you sit back, you take this scope, and you teach yourself how to utilize that reticle, you'll be spot on every damn time. Never had a scope that I love so much for this dollar amount right here. Anyhow, but that's it, guys. In a nutshell, that is the primary arms 4x14 prism, not prism scope. Anyway, just overall, the primary arms guys, they put together a good product, and one of the things they focus on is quality, value, and economical. And that's huge in my market, because I don't have the luxury of anymore of having somebody else's money to spend. But now that it's my money, guess what? I got to deal with what I'm given, or what my wife will allow me to spend. But anyway, that's it, guys. This is the primary arms 4x14 front focal plane scope with the patent pending ACSS reticle. This is suitable for the 308, 223. In my opinion, it's probably the best value on the market. So guys, that being said, support your boys in blue. God bless America. God bless those men and women in uniform 24/7 for our freedom. Freedom is not free. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. I hope this is a lot better than the first one. I'll put the link to the first one, because that was one of my very first videos I did. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Hopefully we've learned a little bit since then. But in any case, I appreciate your time. Subscribe. We got a lot of cool videos out there, and I hope we're not running on too long. But anyway, let's go to Boy 32. Out.